Hey, ladies, welcome to another self-love conversation. We are here with a doctor with a lot of stuff she got going on, y'all, but she is going to help us talk about some things that I think is important for us to focus on, especially as we going into the holiday season and also the new year when we looking at our goals. But let me introduce you to Dr. Shavon Leach. She is a mother, a wife, an entrepreneur, a development consultant, an author. She got her degree in biology. She has a whole bunch of stuff that she's doing. And I can't wait to talk to her and to get her to tell a little bit of her story. But the most impactful thing that we want to get out of today's conversation is how you actually use journaling and writing for your leadership development, for your healing, and for your growth. So, Dr. Shavon, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, of course, my first question is that, of course, you're very, you know, accomplished in all of your endeavors and everything that you were doing. Did you know that you was going to take this path and that your life was going to go this way? Is there something that you set up for yourself, or as you went along, you start to realize exactly what you wanted to do?
Um, no, when I was younger, I wanted to be a research scientist. I clearly am not a research scientist.
Mhm.
But I just got to the point in my adulthood and academic career where I really just wanted to do whatever it was God was telling me to do. Um, and just really followed that path, honestly.
And it just worked out for you. I just got off the phone actually with another woman, a doctor, actually, a pediatrician, and we was just talking about how amazing our lives are, where, we decided to follow that path, and in following that path, we have so much freedom, right? Even
Mhm.
though we have challenges that we have to face, we already know that we will face challenges, but really we have good, amazing lives, you know.
Mhm.
And so my question for you is, as you was walking your journey and you started to follow that path, when you got into those challenges, how did you handle those things? Because that's where we're going to get into how the writing and journaling uh, took place. But how did you handle your challenges?
Well, when you're younger, you kind of just do whatever you think you need to do. Sometimes it's mature, sometimes it's not. It's really trial and error. Um, but as you become more mature in yourself and in your walk with Christ, you realize that you have to surrender yourself over to Him in order to get to wherever it is, we think we want to be. But really wherever he has in plan in store for us to be. And then just really taking a whole lot of deep breaths. Because when you are an adult, sometimes adulting is not it. Uh,
Tell me about it.
and and really writing and giving myself the space that I need to really digest my experiences, my thoughts, my feelings. Because when you get older, you realize that there's a whole lot of stuff from childhood, from the past, from yesterday that tries to creep in and really distract you. And if you're going to get to the place that God has for you, and if you're going to make the impact that we're meant to make, we can't take those things with us. And
Mhm.
so I started writing and journaling when I was younger, to really help me get through the things that I was going through. I wrote poetry. I was in a poetry club in high school. I wrote plays and short stories, and really just digested everyday life in a creative way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was listening to you talk because I was just saying to myself, that whole thing of surrender, to let our audience know it's not the ability to let go and do anything. The surrendering is finally listening to the voice that you know that's inside of you, that you keep
Mhm.
hearing, that keeps nagging you, and surrendering to that voice and walking that way, right? That's what surrendering means, giving up your own thoughts and your own theories and what other people are saying and what other people are believing and what you believe in about yourself, and allowing yourself to actually walk the path. And with journaling, the way that comes into play, what I want to ask you is that a lot of people see journaling as just another act. Some
Mm.
people see it as being therapeutic, but as an act that people always say works, but then they can't see the manifestation of it working.
Mhm.
How has journaling really shaped you in your life where you wanted to get this out to the world and into the forefront? Was there an experience for you, or, you know, uh, uh, did something happen to you? Or, like you said, as a kid, it was just part of your routine?
For me, journaling and writing helped me to understand the different things that I was going through. Sorry, my mom. Mom, goodbye. And she was just at the door like,
I knew it. Hi, baby. Like
oh,
the
right. And so just going through the childhood trauma that I went through was really, I would say, why I started journal writing, so that I can have a way for myself to try to understand, although at that time I didn't, but to try to understand my world, the things that was happening to me, and then also to help me find my own voice and how um, I see life, and really how, in my mind, I would like life to turn out. And so being able to write and journal at that time, even now, it helps me to create a plan, to create goals. It helped me to really define how I want to be as a woman, as a child of God, as a mom, as a business owner.
Yeah. And so I would say, like, for those women who have plenty of journals, Dr. Shavon, right? Who say that they write in their journals all the time, but they don't see the manifestation of things happening for them. Like, they write down their thoughts, they have a whole bunch of stuff and ideas, but they still feel like they stuck. What do you say to those women who are experiencing those things, because those are the ones that have a hard time with understanding the power of journaling and writing, period?
Right. So I believe that some folks, they write to write, but for folks who want to see things come to pass, for folks that want to grow, for folks that want to increase whatever it is they're focusing on, there has to be intentional writing.
Mm,
So with the business that I have, we have journals and notebooks, because I like to, for people to know, journals and notebooks are two different things.
okay.
Um, and we have theme journals. So in whatever journal you get, that is the focus, the topic of that journal. That's how you're going to be reflecting. That's how you're going to be answering questions. That's how you are going to see yourself moving. And that's how you create goals and an action plan to do whatever it is that you want to do. Writing and journaling is very therapeutic, because you're able to get everything out of your mind. You're able to find your voice. You're able to actually hear yourself. You're actually forced to see yourself. But I think where some people kind of lose the value in it is that they don't put action to what they're writing. And I mean, the word says faith without works is dead. Your writing is the faith, what you need healing from, what you need understanding on. But if you're saying that I'm writing to help me control my anger, and you're just writing to write, but you're not really implementing what you're writing. Okay, I want to get all this stuff out because I want to be a bit more gentler. Okay, you're getting it out, but are you actually taking the steps you need to be a more gentle person? So
Exactly.
that's where I feel the disconnect is.
Yeah. And for me, here's one of my journals, right? And Dr. Leach, I look at my stuff, and for a very long time, when you said that you had to be intentional, I only wrote in journals when I was sad or when I was going through something, and like you said, I needed to get it out, right? And I had and still do have Penzu, which was like an online journal online. And
Mm-hmm.
the other day, before we actually when I was reading your bio, I said, let me go into my Penzu because it's all the way back like in 2010. And just to see what I was thinking and what I was writing. And the beautiful thing about journaling is you get to see what your thoughts were back then,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And how you've grown since then. And can I tell you, I was this person who was still like a dreamer and pushing towards, but at the same time, very sad because things was happening in my life, right? But what it did and what it does, and this is my point, is that the journaling helps you see your growth in your own words,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because these are the things that you can open up and figure out how you was thinking 3 years ago versus now. And some of those stories I looked at, I started laughing. I said, I can't believe you sitting up here. I was like, girl, please, you sitting up here arguing and crying with yourself over somebody, and that person ain't even around no more. But at that time, Dr. Leach, how was it? Oh God, he don't love me no more,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So that's where we get to see the power in journaling, right?
Yeah, I think that as we're writing, we're journaling, that there is a lot of answers and we don't even know it.
Mm,
We tap into resilience that's there, strength that's there, but in the moment, especially if it's in a moment of sadness, we don't even realize it. And so it's good to go back, tell folks date and time of when you're journaling so that you can go back and track your growth.
yeah.
And then you can even use that as a tool to help impact someone else. Because when we're going through stuff, we think, oh, sad me, this me. And yes, we are going through it. We're doing it.
Yeah.
But the things we go through they're not for us.
Yeah,
They're to glorify God and to positively impact someone else.
exactly.
So when you have the chance to go back and to reflect, and you can be like, well, this is what I did to overcome that, you now have a testimony or tools or some way to help
Mm-hmm.
someone else.
Mm-hmm. I, so tell me a little bit about your book, The Love Chance Freedom.
Oh man, Love Chance Freedom is a short storybook, and it's sci-fi, so science fiction. Um, and in there's 3 sections: love, chance, and freedom. So most of those stories I wrote years ago, and I decided that I wanted to put them into a book. But I didn't, I wasn't trying to have like a novel because I don't know, my creativity just does not flow like that. So
Right.
I wanted short stories, and then I wanted poetry after the stories, and I wanted micro letters before the stories, written in the perspective of the characters. And so Love, Chance, Freedom talks about um love in a chance and freedom in a creative way, and freedom more focuses on social justice because that's the work that I do.
Mhm.
uh, and then chance is just looking at, you know what how do I see someone being able to get a second chance, or a made-up creature being
Yeah.
able to get a second chance.
Hmm.
But in all of those sections and all of those stories, there's parts of my life. Some of the characters are some like in A Forbidden Love. Victoria grew up to be a research scientist. I thought
Hmm.
that's what I was gonna do
Right, right, right.
when I got older. But I really love Chance Freedom because it helped me to see how I handled life growing up. And then how I chose to help folks now. But yeah, it's definitely it's interesting. I enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's like, when you say love, chance, and freedom, you really have to think about those things and study those things to see, do you really know what love is? Can you really pinpoint what love is? Right? And it's so crazy. For some reason, I've been listening to Mike Tyson and how he describes different things. Like this dude has made such a transformation where he was like, love, you can't describe it, and even if you think you can, it's bigger than that, right?
Mhm.
And he said, and even if you think you can, it's still bigger than that, right? And then he talks about, forgiveness, where he's like, you know a lot of people deserve to have, that grace and that forgiveness, but you have to love them enough to go ahead and give it to them, and that's the hardest part that you got to do. But then you got to understand that freedom is a two-way street. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So it's like, when I saw the title and I looked, I said, here's another thing where you are putting those pieces together to help people understand, what it really means to have these things and put that in place. And so my next question is, with all the stuff that you were doing, especially with the activism and being a mom, how you managing that?
Um, Writing. Um, I have devotions that I do, not my own devotions, devotions from other um pastors and ministers. I do that. I have a lot of prayer time. And then writing that doesn't, I would say that doesn't really, it relates to everything and nothing at all, just a chance for me to kind of get stuff out.
Yeah,
And then I also recently relaunched um my blog. So
which is beautiful, by
whatever,
the way. I saw it.
thank you.
Hmm.
So whenever I feel that something that I've written can help or inspire, I'll put it up there. And then I also make sure I have time to myself. So earlier today, I was like, okay, mom, I'm gonna take a bath. I spent like 45 minutes in the tub, doing nothing because you need time to sit down, relax, and recharge.
Hmm. And so, what do you think you hope to get out of everything that you're doing? What kind of impact do you see yourself leaving on the world or your children or whatever it is your intentions are?
Um, I tell folks just a positive impact. If I can help whomever it is I'm meant to help, um, and how that's what I want to do. I've accepted that we don't control our destiny as much as we like to think. And
Hmm.
so as long as I can just make a positive impact, then I'm cool with that. And for my children, just helping them to be ambitious, never get complacent, go for gold, reach for all the stars that you want to reach for because everything is possible. You're gonna struggle along the way. You're gonna have to take some pauses, but at the end of the day, I hope that they are just as ambitious or even more ambitious than I am and than their dad is.
Hmm. And these kids, I don't know, they do have a mind of their own. They probably,
Mm,
I mean, it's so much stuff going on right now with what they're doing and how their creative minds are working. You just never know, you know. So I know you also was a contributor in Mom Magic, right?
hmm.
What was that experience like?
That was fun. That was really fun. It's hard to try and figure out what to write in a book and then because I was in another co-author book and I was reading some of those stories. I was like, do I really deserve to be in this
Yeah.
book? But I decided to take the track of just really helping moms to understand that it's not fun all the time to be a mom. It's not fun all the time to be a mom and entrepreneur. And it's definitely okay to feel that way, but we can't stay there. Take whatever second you need to cry, go sit in your car and be away, but you still have to get up and keep going. So that was definitely, it was fun. It was great meeting the different authors, um, and seeing how they see their lives and their place in the world.
Hmm.
So I had a lot of fun.
So what's next for you, Dr. Leach?
I have one more book that I'm doing with Mom Magic. It's called Moms for Change.
Wow.
And then really taking Forever Open journal and notebook collection further. I want to be able to reach women in church. I have a couple of more ideas for workbooks and other themed journals that I plan to do. So I'm excited about that.
Okay. So how do we follow you so we can keep up with your journey?
I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, which I'm getting better at Forever Open JN. And then you can follow my blog, Forever Written, at foreverwrittenblog.com.
All right. Dr. Leach, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much.
All right. You have a good night.
You too.
Bye.